it's Dr. Tajiri White here again. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about what is therapy? What's the purpose of it? Well, many people come to therapy for all kinds of reasons. It could be a breakup, they could have experienced a very traumatic event in their life, grief, bereavement, loss of a loved one, numerous reasons. All of a sudden, they notice a change in their mood and they're not the same person that they used to be. They don't have that same thrill to wake up in the morning. The goal of all therapy is to improve overall quality of life. We may take different steps and different pathways to attain that goal, but that's what we want for you. The best part of having a psychotherapist is to use them as an objective observer in your life. Oftentimes, I tell my patients that I'm like a mirror to them. They have to be honest and authentic with me and very real with me so that I can accurately reflect what's going on in their life. Oftentimes, I guide them through insight and I question lots of their thinking. Sometimes we engage in these maladaptive thinking patterns, otherwise known as just negative thought processes that have been established in us since we were children. Maybe our parents modeled that for us, maybe not intentionally, but they did. So they developed how we see ourselves, view ourselves, others, and the world at large. In psychotherapy, we learn how to be more self-introspective, to understand why we think the way we think. Now, this is called metacognition, thinking about how you're thinking. We don't only focus on thoughts, but we also look at emotions, right? They're very important and very critical. Oftentimes people believe that our thoughts are the derivative of our emotions. So we'll sit there as a psychotherapist and dissect everything that's gone on in your life. We'll try to make a lot of connections, identify certain patterns that you can become aware of. Once you're aware of those patterns, you're held accountable for your actions, your beliefs, and everything else going forward. It's helpful at times. I think therapy can be a benefit to everyone, whether they've experienced a traumatic life event, whether they need to process some childhood grief. It doesn't matter. I think it can help everyone with the insight that they gain into who they are as individuals and what their goals are for themselves. Now, it's very important that in therapy, you find a psychotherapist that you connect to, somebody that gets you. You don't want to sit with someone who you feel is really stale and just doesn't understand who you are, doesn't feel your energy. So it's so important to make sure you have that good connection and that good rapport, because you will be wanting to talk about things that you just don't want to talk about. Typically in therapy, I don't force, but I encourage my patients to talk about things that they tend to avoid. We tend to avoid them because they cause us emotional distress. But in order to overcome those things and overcome that distress, we need to work through it. We need to psychologically digest and process it. So, for another date, I want to talk about how we process trauma and how the brain processes traumatic experiences, but that will be for a different time. I hope that if you ever need help, that if you're in a crisis in your life, that you can think to yourself, somebody's out there and is willing to reach out to me and give me the help and the assistance that I need. It takes a lot of courage to recognize where you are in your life and the places that you do need help in. So I do encourage you to reach out. If you need anybody, you can always go to your local behavioral health service or call a suicide hotline. But we always want to make sure that you have somebody to reach out to if that's the case. I appreciate you listening today. If you have any questions, feel free to write them down below. I hope you have a blessed week, and remember, push the love forward.